Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Vermont Scale Customs. So I started yesterday filming a video about this thing, and I'm having a heck of a time getting those files to import to my machine to be able to kind of edit them into the form of a build/mod video. But you're looking at the RC4 drive rebranded GD models. Rascal 124 scale. It's basically an all metal build. I think they're made in Germany, if I'm not mistaken. Might be someplace else, but it kind of does seem like they're made in Germany. It's really, really well machined. Everything seems to just run pretty differently. So anyway, when these are fresh out of the box, they certainly don't run like this at all. They come with some stock shocks, and this originally showed up to me with RC4 drive 2-in-1 electronics on it. And so I have since changed that over to FlySky and also swapped out wheels and tires, and have spent a bunch of time getting this thing suspension modded and stuff like that, so it will actually do what it's doing right now, because when I got it, it wouldn't do anything at all. It had about 5/8 inch of clearance total overall, and I didn't even drive it. I just decided to just go ahead and dig in and see what was going to be possible. And I've been pretty impressed so far. I will say that it has a couple problems still with turning left. And one of the reasons being is that it kind of requires a panhard bar, which was set up on it originally. However, with the panhard bar on there, it actually limits the steering even more than what you're seeing right now. I've got great steering turning right, and can even, back up over things and stuff like that in those steering positions. And as long as I'm careful with it and I pay attention to how I'm driving and I don't load it up too much with too much pressure on that front wheel, see, like it did right there, it kind of just locked in. Even though I've got the steering turned, 100%, it still doesn't want to turn. And it's not until it reaches that point where it can kind of push the wheels over. Anyway, I really like this thing a lot, despite the fact that it doesn't steer as well as it hopefully will be able to once I finally get totally done with this thing. On the flats, it's not too bad, but you can see, I'm moving, and I'm moving the wheel left and right, and it's more moving the chassis. If I put the panhard bar back on there, you'd get a much better idea of what it actually does. And I might, just to see if it helps in any way, but I really like being able to get that angle right there, that steering angle, and that's something that I can't do with the panhard bar on there. Plus, it also seems to keep the suspension from working a little bit in the front. But right now, even on 2S with just this FlySky radio system, I am very impressed with the low speed control that this thing has. It really just seems to, I don't know, this thing just kind of answers a couple of my desires, I guess, in the world of RC trucks and cars. I've always saw these things and thought they were really cool way back when I was getting into 24 scale stuff, right back when I bought my first SDX24. I saw this on the RC4 drive site. I kind of thought they were definitely priced way out of my realm, and thought, of course, that for whatever reason that they were probably some kind of amazing vehicle. And they are really well built, there's no doubt about it. The design of them is very cool, as far as like the minimalism that it has. And let me show you kind of a little bit more about that. Because these are essentially just two link. These are just two frame links with two shocks. There is no other third and fourth link up here, and there's no third link or anything like that to keep things in place. And so it makes it really lightweight for starters, because this is all aluminum, except for the stainless steel drive shafts and the steel screws. But then what you have here is a link that catches both the front and rear of the axle on both the front and the rear. And so that keeps it from rolling forward or backwards, in lieu of not having any third or fourth link to keep that in place. So it's a really cool design, and I think the back end works very well. I just need to get this front end dialed in a little bit better, so it tends, so it'll function a little bit more like it's supposed to. It's just so much better than what it was yesterday when I first dug into the whole thing, and I'm really happy with it overall. So, at any rate, I just wanted to let you guys know where I'm at with this. I did have the body on it, and maybe I should probably put it back on and see how it drives. It was driving okay. I was able to do a couple things with it. I hadn't tried to do any of this stuff with it. This thing runs really well on 3S, I just discovered. So, yeah, even on 2S though, I'm pretty happy with things. I think I'm willing to invest more time in this. And then as well, I think the FuryTech Springtail motor setup, the brushless, going brushless with this actually would be a pretty good deal too. And it's going to kind of give it that little bit extra power that I think that it wants. As far as the servo situation in the front end, the steering issue goes, I might try to just do a little bit more with getting the panhard bar adjusted properly. Even though there really is no adjustment, it's either on or off. But even seeing that it's not, seizing up or stalling out a little bit there, well, actually kind of is stalling out just a tiny bit. Okay, there we go. It's got plenty of power with 2S on the 100-to-1 gear ratio on this tiny little N20 motor that's pushing this whole drivetrain. Things change quite a bit as soon as you put the body on. Obviously, it's much heavier. It drives entirely different. I haven't even driven it since I've done all the modifications this morning. I was running the RC4WD drive electronics, and then I just put this stuff on just to see how much different it was going to be, and I really like it too because this also gives me the opportunity to run 3S. With this ESC, it's a 20 amp ESC. I don't believe I can run 3S comfortably on the stock RC four-wheel drive stuff. Anyway, I'm pretty much just rambling at this point. You guys want to know what the body of this looks like. This is it right here. So it is a Ford F-150. These are made specifically for this whole setup, right down to how the plate attaches to the bottom on here and how it catches this yoke with the single screw and the one screw in the back by the bed, and as well as these two screws on this plate that's right here. So it all fits very well to neatly together. Doors open, everything really highly detailed die cast. But this body's fairly heavy. This probably weighs about 12 to 14 ounces. So adding that kind of weight to this thing with this tiny little N20 motor on here, I'm going to need to come up with a way to be able to run it, properly. So that's kind of what I'm working on right now. Suspension, just getting this thing just running okay. But, look forward to this truck. You'll see it soon. I'm not sure when it's going to be completed, when it'll be totally done, but it'll be ready for public consumption here before too much longer. Uh-oh, I just got stuck. Let's see if I can't get out of it. Oh, look at that. Here we go. So it's capable, it'll do stuff. I'm going to see what it's like when I put the body back on. I'm sure it's not going to be the exact same. I might need to look into putting a plastic body on this, but it's certainly going to be a hard body. It won't be a Lexan. Anyway, thanks for watching. Enough of my rambling on about this thing. It's a fun little truck. If you can find one out there, go ahead and nab it. They're a little pricey, but I haven't picked up anything for quite a while, so I've been kind of setting some money aside for an RC rig. And just so happens I came across this thing on Facebook Marketplace. It turned out to be a pretty good deal. So, yeah, look at the travel on that back end. I mean, I couldn't be happier with how that functions right there. I just got to get that front end dialed in more, and then I'll be completely psyched on this thing. So, anyway, thanks for watching. I want to keep this one short, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks. See ya.